Hi there, JC here. Welcome to today's lesson. Imagine never having to go to the store or the bank to get what you want. In fact, all you have to do is find someone who has what you want and get them to agree to trade. For example, imagine you have a cat, but all you want is a dog. However, your parents won't allow you to go to the pet store to get a dog because you already have your cat. But what if there was another kid who had a dog, but all they wanted was a cat? What if you could meet up with that kid and exchange your cat for their dog? Both parties would be happy to have what they wanted, and they didn't even need a pet store to make it all happen. I'd call that an even and successful exchange, wouldn't you? Now imagine if you could make these types of trades with a bunch of different people for all sorts of things. Well, you sort of can, because that's kind of how the blockchain works. In short, the blockchain is a network of transactions between individual people. In other words, it's a method of trading online without the need of third parties like companies, stores, and banks. And instead of being owned by one company, the blockchain is owned by everyone that's involved. Now, you might be wondering, how exactly is that possible? Or how can you be sure that you'll receive what you're owed? Or is the information even secure in the blockchain? Well, the blockchain allows for direct transactions, using a network of computers that all share the same history. In other words, each and every one of those computers would help confirm and keep track of the transactions, so no one could lie or cheat when it comes to a trade. Still confused? That's okay. Blockchain technology can seem like a big concept, just like a big network of computers. But when you break it down, you'll realize that it isn't really too complicated at its core. So let's put on those curiosity caps and dive into the world of blockchain technology. With the rise in online scams and fraud, a lot of people share a big question when it comes to the first learning about the blockchain. How could I know for certain that my transaction, take a money transfer for example, was secure? After all, if the blockchain is public, that means anyone and everyone can join the network. And when someone joins the blockchain network, they get access to the entire blockchain network. We call people in the blockchain network nodes, but people don't want total strangers to be able to see the details of their transactions, what they're buying, or for how much money, for example. But that's where cryptography comes into play. And what is cryptography exactly? Cryptography provides an encrypted code to each transaction, 256-bit cryptographic keys to be exact. This code makes it so the details of the transaction can't be seen by the public network, just the code. You can think of this encrypted code like a secret code. And each transaction made through the blockchain gets its own one of these codes. In other words, it's as if each transaction is given a unique series of letters and numbers that only that specific transaction has. This unique code allows for everyone in the blockchain network to see the transaction and confirm that it has happened. The result? The blockchain is like a giant web of secure transactions. Okay, but wait. We know the blockchain is a chain of blocks that contain information, but what exactly is a block? Let's take a closer look. There are three main parts of each block in a blockchain. Each block holds specific data. The type of data included in the block depends on the type of blockchain it's part of. But it's basically the important information regarding the specific transaction. Blocks also have what is called hash. You can also think of hash like a fingerprint of sorts, created with that special code I was talking about earlier. It helps identify the block and all of its data. And much like a fingerprint, no two hashes are alike. This helps to securely store and accurately track each transaction or block. If the data is changed or tampered with, it would change the hash. In other words, the fingerprint would no longer be a match and it would trigger a warning that something was changed in the block. That last part of a block? More hash. But this time, it's not the block's own hash. Each block also contains the hash of the previous block in the chain. This helps secure the entire chain. If a change is made to the hash of one block, it disrupts the entire chain, causing each of the subsequent blocks to become invalid. Uh-oh. Thankfully, the nodes in each blockchain network work through a series of checks and balances to verify each and every block. So if any errors or changes are flagged, the nodes are on it. They are a big part of what helps to keep the network secure and successful. Okay, so where did this technology come from, you ask? Well, while it's only gained popularity in recent years, the blockchain was actually invented back in 1991. It was created as a way to timestamp digital documents so the dates couldn't be altered, keeping them accurate and secure. But it didn't gain much popularity. That is, until Bitcoin came on the scene in 2009, nearly 2 decades after the technology was first invented. Now, a lot of people think Bitcoin is the blockchain. But in reality, it's just a popular example of how people use blockchain technology. So what exactly is Bitcoin, and how does it work in the blockchain, you ask? Lucky for you, I've got the answer. Bitcoin is a digital currency, or money that exists online. In other words, you can't physically hold it in your hand, like you can a dollar bill or coins. And instead of banks controlling the flow of money, like with physical cash, the Bitcoin blockchain network keeps track of the currency. And like Bitcoin, most blockchains are controlled and managed by a peer-to-peer network. That just means that all of the individual people who are part of the blockchain network, the nodes, help to keep it running. Each blockchain has a set of rules that the people in the network must follow. This includes rules for communicating with one another and how to confirm transactions, or blocks. Because once a transaction is a block, and therefore part of the blockchain, it cannot be changed. So you can't agree to send someone $100 and then only send them $50 because you changed your mind. Any change to a block in the chain will require the change to be applied to all future blocks in the chain too. And that's exactly why it's called a chain. Oh, you might be wondering, what's the point? I mean, it's cool and all, but why use a blockchain? Well, in addition to it being quite cool, it's also convenient and gives people control over their networks so they don't have to rely on those big third-party businesses and banks. Because of its special cryptography coding, the blockchain allows digital information and currencies to be exchanged and tracked by the individuals in the network. And remember, they don't have the ability to change it. In other words, once recorded, a transaction in the blockchain cannot be changed, deleted, or destroyed. The record is in the blockchain forever. This helps hold all parties involved responsible for their end of the trade. It also allows for safe record keeping of each and every transaction made within the blockchain. So cool! Phew! That was a lot of information. And blockchain technology was relatively simple at its core. It's a concept that we're not totally used to, so it can be a bit challenging to wrap your head around at first. Let's review some of the basics we learned today regarding blockchain technology. First and foremost, the blockchain exists solely online. Second, it's maintained by every user on the blockchain. Third, it's decentralized. That's just a fancy word for saying each and every user of the blockchain has a complete copy of all of the transactions in the network. Lastly, it can track the entire transaction history of any given item or currency using encrypted code. So, long story short, the blockchain is pretty cool. And it opens up a whole new world of possibility when it comes to person-to-person transactions. The blockchain is another reminder that technology is really cool. And like other sciences, it's always evolving and finding new ways to go about our lives, usually for the better. For example, that device you're watching this video on right now, whether it's a computer, laptop, tablet, smartphone, or any other device, it's a product of technological innovation. So before we part ways, I want to leave you with a challenge. As you go about the rest of your day, I challenge you to make note of other technologies that impact your day-to-day life, because we wouldn't be where we are today, and I certainly wouldn't be here having this conversation with you if it wasn't for technology. Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have today, my friend. But don't worry, thanks to technology, I'm only a few clicks away. So thanks for tuning in, and until next time, stay curious, my friend.
We are thrilled that you're watching Blues Studios 24/7. We're so excited to bring round-the-clock entertainment and educational content to your home. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with our latest videos. At Blues Studios, we aspire to revolutionize the way families spend time together. We empower families by providing them with tools to work together, earn and learn, and achieve new heights of success. Visit www.bluestudios.io to discover more about our mission and how we empower families to succeed. Thank you so much for being part of our community. Keep watching and learning with us. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button.